So I'm calling in with a hand from Playground in Montreal.
Playground in Montreal. Everyone always jokes when I say that I've been to like every single card room. I have not been to Playground, but I have been to Casino Montreal. I don't even know if that place exists anymore. Casino Montreal, do they have poker there?
They still do. Actually, I believe they just reopened it, but all the
Oh,
dealers
okay.
went on strike, so now they just closed it again.
Really? Really? Playground Montreal. Okay.
Bart, you
Interesting.
got to make it out to Playground. That is poker paradise.
Well, I will be actually on the East Coast visiting my parents again fairly soon. It is kind of a hike, but oh, we'll see. We'll see. I like Montreal. My parents are all French. I mean, my mom's French Canadian,
Oh,
whole side
nice.
from Quebec. Grew up in Maine. So playground Montreal. All right, what's the game size?
So it's 2-5.
Two
Uh,
2 5 loonies, right?
exactly.
2 5
Uh,
CAD. Okay.
so the bind structure is 200 to 800.
Okay.
We're playing nine-handed. And the rake is pretty high here. It's 5% up to 15, plus
Mm,
an additional dollar for the bad beat.
wow.
Uh,
Uh,
but you know what? Food and drinks are comped.
Kind of sounds like
So
California. Because I mean, when you look at that too, people are like, oh my god, up to 15. That's probably less than a flat drop in Southern California. By the way, what is the mixture of languages that are spoken in this game? Is it like half French and half English, or
yeah, so both languages are accepted at the table. They speak both. Yeah, the dealers even announce.
so it's not English only, obviously?
Uh, it's like mostly English, but there is a lot of French spoken there for
Yeah.
sure.
Okay. All right. Cool.
Yeah.
Yep.
And yeah, there is a $2 million bad beat going on there, so it's pretty busy these days.
Like some sort of crazy qualification, like quad tens beaten or something.
Quad sevens.
Yeah, I remember they did this in Vegas like 10, 15 years ago, where when you get that qualification up, I think it was the Coast casinos. They pooled their bad beat jackpot across all their rooms so that everybody was eligible, and it still took like a year to hit, and it was like over $1 million. Because if you have to use both cards and hold them, quad tens is quite the qualification. But it's probably good for the game, though.
Oh, it's yeah, for sure, for sure.
Yeah.
It brings in a ton of bad beat hunters,
Yep.
so
Yep.
you get a lot of pre-flop action, a lot of multi-way spots.
Okay.
Anyways, so yeah, let's get into the
Yeah.
hand. So, uh, the under the gun limps and the hijack limps.
Okay.
I'm in the cutoff. I'm playing 1200. Uh, I get ace of diamonds and ace of clubs,
Okay.
and I raised to $30.
Okay.
So the big blind, under the gun, and hijack all call.
Big blind, under the gun, and hijack call. And of course, the under the gun and the hijack were limpers. So you get the extra big blind in there. So one, two, three, four ways, including yourself, is like 120-ish, something like that, right?
Yeah, so I had the pot as 122. And by the
Okay.
way, I'm 680 effective with the main villain, who's the hijack.
All right.
Just
So hijack
yeah,
is 680.
yeah.
Okay.
That's the effective stack for the hand.
Okay.
So the flop comes out king of clubs,
Mm-hmm.
eight of spades,
Mm-hmm.
three of hearts.
Super dry.
Yeah.
Okay.
It checks around to me,
Yep.
and I bet $25.
Checks to hero, who bets 25. Wow, pretty small bet. Bets 25 in a 120. The thing that I would say about this is that, with typical live games, you're talking about like a bad beat hunting. You'll see a lot of people play offsuit broadways and stuff like this for limps, like king, jack, king, queen. Whereas in a tighter game, when you hold two aces, it cuts down on like ace, king. Not that there would be a ton of people here with ace, king with the pre-flop action, but in looser games, I actually tend to size up. I mean, not like crazy up, but there's a very good chance that somebody has a king here. And the thing is that like dink and dunking 25 here, I mean, maybe like somebody closing the action, you get a little bit of like value from like 8x that might otherwise fold. But whenever I'm in a loose live game, again, it's another CLP hack, like with people V-pipping a lot of offsuit broadways for raises, I just think, man, you'd love to just get some value here. I mean, I think there's a much greater chance that somebody has a king here than doesn't, and I just don't know what 25 is really doing for you here.
So, like, what kind of percentage would you be looking to see bet four ways here then.
I might bet like 60 or 70.
Oh, so you're going that okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
yeah.
I just don't see what 25, like I said, 25 might rope in somebody closing the action like with an 8 or something, but like you're not going to get much value from that hand anyways. I just want to max out on my king versus like king X. The more people that are in there, the looseness of the V pip, especially on a board like this, where it's a static board where king is always going to pretty much remain top pair, especially when you have two aces in your hand. I'm just going for max value here. Some people even saying going a little bit larger. But okay, so you bet 25.
Right. Uh so the big blind folds, under
Uh-huh.
the gun calls, and now hijack raises to 75.
Oh, man. Well, this was, when I looked at this hand, it was going to be like a really good lesson in what, how you have to be you have to be very, very wary. Now, you said that the hijack started with 680. Here, this is what I'm going to give my take here. This is very, very strong. Yeah, now maybe not to some people on paper, but whenever somebody sort of min clicks a raise for a really, really small raise size in a multi-way pot, especially when they're on the short stack and they don't appear to be afraid of much, I would proceed with a lot of caution. Now, with that being said, you bet so small that I would never fold now because you might have induced this. But let's say, for example, you had bet 75, okay? So say you went 75, and let's say that under the gun calls, and now the hijack went to like 175, I would be very, very concerned. Now I'm not saying that I would necessarily fold, but I might be very prepared to fold later on, because that is whenever, like I said, and especially this is even more extreme if someone's really short. Like say that the guy started with like 400 and you went 75 and this guy calls and he goes to like 170 starting with 400. Oh my God, that's just so strong. Plus there's no draws out there. And again, a king doesn't tend to check raise a whole ton here because it's static as a top pair. But I mean, I'm going to obviously call here to 75. That's something to definitely be to look out for viewers. So hijack goes to 75. Okay.
Hijack goes to 75. And yeah, just to touch on this player a little bit, I don't have a ton of info on him. I was pretty new to this table actually, but he refused to straddle, which is like the only thing I had on him. So that also kind of made me think, oh, like, maybe he's on the tighter side too.
Mm-hmm.
So I wasn't too sure what to
So
think.
it's kind of a nit.
I wasn't fully prepared to like.
Was he like the
conclusion.
only guy that was refusing to straddle, like on the whole table?
There were like a couple guys who didn't want to straddle. So yeah.
Okay. All right. So you call, I assume.
Anyways, so I call and under the gun folds.
Some people saying 3-bet the flop. No way. I mean, that might be like, again, a solver type output, but this is way, way different. I think that would be a disaster. So hero calls and what? UTG folds?
UTG folds, yeah. So now the pot's just under $300.
270. Okay. Oh yeah, 27 plus 285. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, because we're also adding in the under the gun.
295. Okay.
Call. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the turn is now the 7 of diamonds, so it completes the rainbow.
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to get like any real scare cards on this board, right? There's no straight draws. There's no flush draw, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Unless it came to king.
And honestly, that kind of put the warning signs.
That's
in my
why the
head
check raise is even stronger, especially.
Yeah, because I'm trying to think about like what types of hands is he going to check raise there. Like, I don't see him having many strong kings. Like, is he doing that with like king, queen, king, jack? That was actually something I was going to ask you. Are you going to think that the hijack would make a move like this with king, queen? Or
well, I
king,
think that your sizing was so small that it's actually possible. I would tend to say no if you had gone 75. That's why, like, I think you have to continue on. But I think that the hand will continue to reveal himself through his bet sizing on turn and on river. So depending on what he bets on turn, unless it's something insane, like this is probably going to be a game of Fifth Street Chicken for me, Crush Like Poker, where I'm going to call the turn, and then I'm going to evaluate I'm going to evaluate the river. It looks like he's got about 580 left. So what happens here on the turn?
Yeah, so on the turn he bets 125 into 300.
Okay, so
And
it's not the same bet or less. A lot of times when someone check raises and then they make the same bet, like if he went 75 and then on the turn he bet like 50 or 75 again, then I would say, wow, you've got the best hand here. And then it's a question of, do you want to call and then just bomb the river when he checks to you, or do you want to put in a small raise now and try to bet the river? But with 125, remember, he only has like five. What does he get? Like
yeah, you're right, 575.
575. Okay, so he bets 125 now. So hijack bets 125. Now I'm going to call again. This is exactly what I'm talking about, Fifth Street Chicken. I'm definitely going to call again and see what he does on the river. Did you call?
Yeah, so I was kind of thinking the same thing. I thought it was a pretty straightforward call. Raising did not enter my mind
No,
at all.
I don't
I
think
was
so.
just thinking, yeah, easy call.
So it's 545, and it looks like he's got what, like 450-ish, something like that.
Yeah,
left in stack?
exactly. He has
Okay.
450 left,
Yep.
and the river comes out of 5 of clubs.
Well, again, I mean, you're not going to really see much here. Yeah.
No, and so yeah, this was the part of the hand that, like, I don't know. I think I made a big mistake here. So he went all in for 450.
Okay, so stop. Okay, so hijack all in 450. So what were we hoping? What were we hoping that he had when he check raised the flop?
Yeah, see, like I'm hoping it's like some kind of king, queen, king, jack that he didn't open pre-flop. Like,
Right. So we were hoping that he was like sort of check raising a king because of the fact that you made a small bet. Now, okay, that might be true. And maybe he follows up with, but again, it's not really draw heavy. You would be more apt to see this if it was like a 2 flush board and he was protecting, right? But it's super dry. So he follows up with 125 on the turn, king 8-3. He check raises to 75, you call with aces. Turns a 7, he bets 125, you call, pots 545. Now, my contention here is that king jack and king queen and king 10 are not going to move all in on the river after you continue to call his check raise and call the turn. Now, I'm not saying that this is an easy laydown by any means. Like on paper, in theory, it's a square call. I'm just saying that it would not surprise me here if you're beat, and I have made laydowns like this against players, though, that I am fairly familiar with. It just reeks of a lot of strength here on a non-draw heavy type of board when he takes that small check raise sizing and then follows up with 125 all in here at the end.
yeah, exactly.
It smells like a set. I mean, it smells like 8-8 or 3-3. I don't think he has 8-7. I mean, that's a hand that, or king. Could he have king 8 here too? Maybe.
So I did consider king 8. I think king 8 is, yeah, for sure. I think that's possible. After he moved all in, I was in the tank. I was definitely in the blender for a bit, and I was thinking, like, I really wasn't sure. I was like, I don't know if I'm good, but I don't know if I can fold aces here. Like, I think I just got married to aces, to be honest. And
I mean, listen, like, I don't think anyone's going to necessarily, I don't think it's a huge mistake when you see a lot of weird shit go down at the smaller stakes. I don't think anyone's going to be like, oh my God, what a losing play to call down here with aces. Again, and I would have a hard time folding here if I didn't know anyone in the room. Like, if I went up to play around Montreal and I saw this action, I would just be, this is going to be another one of these side calls for me, I think.
Right. So,
know?
like, and that's the thing. I was like, oh, do I side call? Like, I really didn't have, like, in that moment, I didn't feel I had enough info to fold. So I said to him, I said, sir, please don't show me 8s and please don't show me 3s. I popped in the call.
And
of course he says, oh, you're right, I have 8s.
So V1 has 8-8. He flopped the straight. He played it hard.
Flopped a set.
Flopped a set. He played it hard. Again, it's just one of these things too. When I go back to the one wrinkle here is your small sizing on flop that sometimes will induce somebody to kind of spaz out. Put it this way, like I said, if you went 70 and it went call and he goes 175 and you call and then he follows up with like 250 and you call. Let's say you were deeper, right?
Right.
So you bet 70 call, he goes 175, you call. Then on the turn, he bets like 250, you call, and on the river he like shoves for like 6 or 700. I think I would definitely fold.
Yeah, for sure. I would definitely feel comfortable folding too.
With your kind of smallish sizing on the flop, you just wonder sometimes if
I
somebody
know.
is
And
inducing
yeah,
off.
I was thinking a lot about that small sizing because I was like, did that induce? I really wasn't sure, and so yeah. But I think I don't know. I think yeah, still just feel so weird about that river spot. That
LP Stolaro 82 says this is a regulation fold. I feel like Bart is just being nice to the guy to not make him feel bad for being a station. I kind of, like I said, I just, it is definitely an exploitable fold that I have made in the past. I just do sort of harken back to the very small sizing on the flop from from the hero. And again, if the hand was set up where hero made a larger bet size and it went down this way and it was a sort of a min check raise followed by a bet and all in, I think it was definitely a fold. But yeah, it's an interesting one.
yeah, for sure.
Thanks
Yes.
very much for the call.
Hey, thank you so much. It was a pleasure to be on the show today.
Yeah, no problem. I appreciate it.